Hi, everyone. Today, we're going to dive deep into this epic Hollywood power struggle. They rarely make front-page news. The maneuvering happens behind closed doors. Savvy, modern influencers at times sideline famous, legendary actors, but sometimes they get shot down in flames. Blake Lively met her match, and it was all done in the silent corridors of Hollywood away from social media.
This is the untold story of two women, one revered for her unmatched depth and decades-spanning legacy, Meryl Streep, and the other known for a captivating public persona, highly curated brand deals, and a knack for social media engagement, Blake Lively. When these two stars collided on a Netflix project that promised critical glory, the real drama erupted far from the cameras. Hidden rivalries, strategic marketing campaigns, and a few accidental leaks changed everything. By the time the dust settled, only one of them stood with her reputation intact, while the other walked away chasing an image that might never fully recover. But to truly grasp how a seemingly quiet conflict escalated into a cautionary tale for the entire industry, we have to start at the moment everything seemed perfect. A star-studded film that had Oscar buzz before it even got a title. Because the most surprising part of all might be just how swiftly illusions of collaboration can collapse when commercial ambition takes over real storytelling. Toward the end of 2022, Netflix executives were buzzing about a new original film. Confidential scripts circulated, hush-hush meetings were held in the dead of night, and a wave of rumors swelled around a single name: Meryl Streep. The project itself was, rumor has it, to be a character-driven psychological drama, an unflinching exploration of a former war journalist haunted by the stories she never dared to publish. Producers whispered that this film was bound for the awards circuit. The script was gritty and full of moral gray areas. It challenged the main character's sense of duty and her culpability for the truths she chose not to expose. Word spread that this role was tailor-made for Meryl's ability to disappear into complex personas. And behind the scenes, Netflix was ready to position it as one of the most prestigious films in their lineup, an apparent statement piece, proving that streaming giants could go toe-to-toe with major studios when it came to serious, awards-worthy cinema. That was the plan, until someone proposed a fresh spin. Enter Blake Lively, a star known for her sharp public image, savvy self-promotion, and undeniable screen presence. She was cast as a co-lead, supposedly to introduce a younger viewpoint into the film's narrative. The press release was initially low-key, but inside the industry, whispers grew. Could Blake's flair for social media and brand partnerships overshadow Meryl's meticulous approach? Some believed it was a savvy marketing move. Netflix tapping into two distinct audiences. Others suspected it was a risk, but on paper, it seemed workable. Meryl Streep, the grand dame of cinema, and Blake Lively, an established star with a fervent following, teaming up for a weighty drama. What could go wrong? At first, everything looked promising. The writing was strong, the directorial vision was bold, and both leads seemed aligned. But as insiders would soon discover, success in Hollywood isn't only about acting chops, it's also about who controls the narrative. Shortly after Blake signed on, a curious development surfaced: producer credits. No one batted an eye at first. It isn't unusual for big-name actors to secure producing roles, especially if they've got their own production companies or a proven record behind the camera. But this time, the tension started simmering almost immediately. According to one anonymous Netflix development staffer, Blake's new producer title came with creative notes that reshaped entire scenes. The script, originally described as an intense meditation on guilt and the horrors of war, began to morph into something else, a redemption narrative with a more uplifting tone. Studio insiders reported that Meryl's character, once the emotional cornerstone, was gradually pushed to the background. Then came the scheduling conflicts, an industry catch-all phrase that often masks bigger disputes. Netflix stood by the official story. Meryl had other commitments, so the production needed to adjust. But one cryptic tweet from a film blogger set tongues wagging. Meryl's role was basically gutted. The project she once praised went from raw to Pinterest chic. Rumors grew that Meryl saw the writing on the wall and wanted out, or at least demanded the film stay true to its original script. A few brave voices on social media called out Blake directly, accusing her of turning the project into a typical star vehicle to boost her image. Others defended her, saying she was just giving it commercial viability. But the subtle power struggle was undeniable. And in the heated swirl of speculation, one detail became clear. Meryl was no longer the film's main focus. Behind the scenes, Blake had more than just a movie on her plate. She was building a multi-pronged brand empire that threaded fashion, lifestyle endorsements, and social media influence into a single unstoppable force. The real flashpoint occurred when Chanel, one of the biggest luxury fashion houses on the planet, entered the picture. For months, whispers suggested Chanel was quietly courting Meryl for a special legacy campaign. She'd been spotted wearing vintage Chanel at a European film festival, fueling rumors that the brand wanted to showcase her as an icon of enduring elegance. But then, something happened. Practically overnight, official announcements declared Blake Lively as the face of Chanel's upcoming Women in Cinema campaign, referencing exactly the same angle. Insiders believe they'd approach Meryl with timeless artistry, female empowerment, cinematic history. The pivot was jarring. While the mainstream press reported it as a natural fit, Blake was well known for her style. The chatter in Hollywood told a different story. People suspected that Blake leveraged her Netflix partnership to sweeten the Chanel deal. After all, synergy between a brand and a star can skyrocket engagement. Meryl, when asked in an offhand moment if she was ever approached by Chanel, replied simply, "I don't do campaigns. I tell stories." That single line set social media ablaze. Industry watchers and ordinary fans alike saw it as a direct shot at Blake's brand-centric approach. Was Meryl annoyed that the brand had effectively passed on her? Or was she making a statement that she wouldn't commodify her roles for a fashion label? Possibly both. However, the main takeaway was clear. Meryl remained unimpressed by the conflation of marketing and serious art, while Blake was leaning all in on that exact strategy. In early 2023, an audio clip began circulating in private film crew circles, allegedly recorded during a Netflix internal feedback session. It had a senior script supervisor lamenting how the original film had lost its essence. The voice, etched with frustration, claimed, "This was supposed to be about silence, guilt, and the pain we carry from the stories we hide. It got turned into a star vehicle." Meryl left when she realized that. Although the clip was swiftly taken down from most platforms, transcripts of it spread like wildfire. That was the first time the public got near confirmation that Meryl's departure wasn't just a matter of scheduling, but a fundamental clash of visions. Suddenly, fans and critics had more ammunition for heated debates. Some argued that it was Blake's right to shape a film she was co-producing. Others blasted her for overshadowing Meryl, an actress synonymous with authenticity, merely to pump up a polished piece. Redemption arc more in line with Blake's curated feel-good image. Around the same period, Meryl made a rare speaking appearance at a Directors Guild panel. Asked about modern performance strategies versus old-school craft, she said, "The question is, no longer can you disappear into the role, but rather, will the audience still see you?" She didn't name names, but no one needed her to. Within hours, entertainment blogs everywhere screamed, "Meryl calls out PR-driven acting." And as if that wasn't enough of a spotlight, a highly respected industry blogger posted a piece titled, "Meryl's One-Line Takedown of Influencer Acting," in which they contrasted the slow, deliberate artistry of Meryl with the rapid-fire brand expansions typical of someone like Blake. Whether she wanted it or not, Meryl found herself in a swirling controversy. Fans rallied around her quiet dignity. Blake's supporters insisted she was being unfairly villainized for playing the Hollywood game. But that's exactly the problem. It's no longer just about acting, it's about who can weaponize influence in an industry that, ironically, values authenticity above all else. Until it doesn't. By mid-2023, Netflix still pushed forward with the newly christened film, In the Gray. The marketing campaign pivoted almost entirely around Blake, touting her role as both star and producer. Teaser trailers emphasized a modern, inspirational tone, one woman's journey to reclaim her story. Yet insiders remembered the original concept. A morally complex war journalist grappling with untold atrocities. Where was that raw tension? Where was Meryl? Gone. Critics, always eager to spot authenticity, quickly noticed the gaping void where the film's core once lived. In the Gray had turned from a simmering exploration of moral compromise into a brand-friendly redemption story that leaned heavily on emotionally glossy beats. The reviews were merciless. On aggregator sites, the average score hovered in mixed territory. People wrote that The final cut felt disconnected from its premise, as though someone had hammered a square narrative into a round hole just to align with a particular star's PR angle. Blake's team launched a robust campaign for awards consideration, spending big on digital ads, high-profile interviews, and magazine covers. But the campaign fizzled on arrival. Industry veterans recognized the film's disjointed nature. For all of Netflix's marketing muscle, it wasn't enough to secure the kind of Oscar buzz that had once seemed guaranteed. When the Oscars rolled around, not a single major nomination included in the gray. Even side categories remained silent. The chatter was all about how the original script, with Meryl attached, might have been an instant contender. A few high-profile critics essentially said, "You can't manufacture Meryl's depth. Either you have it or you don't." Even as Blake's awards campaign faltered, Meryl had already shifted her focus to a new venture. A stripped-down stage production at the Public Theater in New York, ironically featuring an even darker, more unfiltered exploration of war correspondence. Many spectators couldn't help noting the parallels to the original In the Grey script. But this time, Meryl had full creative freedom, and the show's raw honesty drew widespread acclaim. Then, as awards season concluded, rumors circulated that Meryl was in talks with A24 for a full-length drama. Sure enough, official announcements landed in late 2024. Meryl would star in a two-woman psychological film, an intense study of grief, memory, and forgiveness. Her co-star? Florence Pugh, a celebrated actress known for her fearless performances and anti-PR persona. If anyone wanted a sign that Meryl was doubling down on authenticity, this was it. Social media lit up with excitement, seeing Meryl and Florence, two powerhouses from different generations, teaming up for a project that promised no glossy marketing gimmicks, but real, gritty character work was a dream come true for cinephiles. In stark contrast, Blake's Instagram teased new lifestyle content, more brand tie-ins, and an overall vibe that suggested a pivot from serious actress back to Hollywood influencer. In the eyes of many, Meryl had quietly reclaimed the narrative, reminding everyone that true artistry can't be overshadowed by marketing alone. Despite the high-gloss sheen, Blake's brand empire took hit after hit. Chanel pulled a soft withdrawal, quietly replacing Blake in a subsequent campaign with Cate Blanchett. Casting rumors that once attached Blake's name to indie darlings went nowhere. Directors allegedly sought out less controversial leads. Even the tabloids, which once adored Blake, seemed tired of the relentless PR push. Then came rumblings of legal turmoil. A producer from a separate project filed papers accusing Blake's production arm of contract manipulation and overshadowing the creative process. Nothing was proven, and details were sparse, but the implication was clear. This wasn't just an isolated incident tied to In the Grey. It appeared to be part of a broader pattern. People began to question whether Blake's hustle to maintain her brand was overshadowing her capacity to collaborate in good faith. And perhaps the most unexpected blow came from someone close to her. While promoting an upcoming project, her husband, Ryan Reynolds, gave a podcast interview and was asked about creative interference in Hollywood. His answer was measured, but telling. Sometimes silence is complicity, and sometimes it's self-preservation. He didn't mention Blake by name, but fans speculated he was alluding to the swirl of controversies around her. The line drew more speculation than anything else he said that day, prompting talk that tension might exist even within their otherwise picture-perfect marriage. By 2025, Meryl Streep stood before a packed auditorium at the Cannes Film Festival to present a Legacy Award. On that stage, she delivered a speech that was both elegant and searing. "I've watched stories stripped of truth, edited into self-promotion, repackaged for trending headlines. I've stayed quiet. But we owe more to the women outside this room. Tell the story, not the brand." The moment was electric. Footage of Meryl's speech flooded social media. Tweets with short video clips garnered millions of views and hours. A-listers and emerging talents alike reposted it, thanking her for championing authentic storytelling. While Meryl re-emerged in full force, a living legend who refused to compromise her integrity, Blake's opportunities quietly dried up. Projects that once would have jumped to cast her seemed wary. Her brand deals no longer landed with the same fanfare. When Meryl finally gave an extensive interview for a European arts magazine, she famously observed, "When a story no longer reflects the truth, It becomes branding. Branding can be profitable, but it can't be profound. That quote resonated far beyond the magazine's niche readership. And what of Blake? She pivoted into a quieter mode, focusing on lifestyle expansions that didn't require the scrutiny of critics or the awards circuit. Her name, which had once been a staple of red carpet breakdowns and people's best dress lists, now appeared less frequently. If there's one lesson from this entire saga, it's that quiet removal can speak louder than any public feud. Meryl never launched personal attacks. She never posted a single unkind statement on social media. She just let the work and its absence do the talking. Sometimes, silence really is the strongest statement of all. Because here's the final twist. It wasn't Meryl who had to fight for her spot. She simply walked away with her dignity and craft intact. In the end, one question still lingers, the same question that might keep echoing every time Hollywood tries to package performance as mere product. Which matters more? Selling an image or telling a story? If you know Meryl Streep, you already know the answer. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.